no. I don't know if you heard anything. Well, I guess I'm going to have to start all over, people. Oh man, that's horrible. Well, hold on 1 second. Let me try to check. I'm just checking this to see if it was even going out. Oh no. Well, I have no clue what went on. Let me see something. All right. Well, here I am, people. This is the real world. And I'm hoping that if you're listening, you send this to everybody you know. The truth's out there, always was. The space program's real. Aliens are real. Bigfoot's real. Do you care? UFOs are real. And they're not even admitting that today. Truman and Eisenhower were dealing that in 1949 on. Roswell was a real thing. I want to mention a name, people. One of the most important names in the UFO world who's dying right now. Sean David Morton. Read his book, Sands of Time. It's the most important book for the facts of what really went down in the history of the UFO world. Sands of Time, it's now 5 parts, but he's dying. They tried arresting him, putting him in jail for a couple of years, tried killing him, and all kinds of things happened to him. But he was dying, so they had to let him out. People, he wrote this book, but read it. It's really important. Then the next book you should read by Fred Bell. All right, pull up his books, his first book, Rays of Light, Crystals of Truth. It's really important. He worked for the government. He worked on a HARP system for the government. I knew him. He was a friend. I got his... People, I don't lie. I was in the UFO world from 1996 to 2002. I met all the cool people, all the important people in the UFO world. Guess what? They're all dead. D-E-A-D, dead. Taken out. All of them. The ones that were in the army and you name it. Now we got people coming out, whistleblowers. Oh, I saw a spaceship. Wow, I can see one every day. My friends next door are seeing them every day. I got half the neighborhood watching the sky now. And it's not a satellite, people. A satellite doesn't ever stop, doesn't turn sideways, go backwards, or go around in a circle. They don't. Oh, it's a drone. Drones don't do what they're doing in the sky as far as and as fast as they can. I got videos, but I don't put them up online. Why? People, oh, this is fake. Well, the videos out there, most of them are fake. The really, really clear, crystal clear videos are fake. It's so hard to catch a UFO. They know you're filming them when you're flying over you. How many times I went to film them and the camera just froze? I saw a ship coming out of the ground in the middle of the day. I had 2 cameras, both of them locked. People, I've been in this all my life. I'm going to die in the UFO world as well. I'm also on a spiritual quest, but I'm not going to talk about that right now because we're nowhere near spiritual on this planet. Oh, we're spiritual. We're going into the golden age. We're going into this, the golden age. No, we're not. The world will be destroyed before we get into the golden age. These people can't go into the golden age. We were in the golden age in one time in history. Only once, people. I don't care what you hear about Kali Yuga age, Iron Age, Silver Age. No, we were in the golden age one time. And it was really the Garden of Eden, but not the kind of that's in the Bible. When there were 9 races living here. 9 spiritual races lived on Atlantis. I'm not going to get into that whole story either right now. I don't have time to. People, we've been working really hard trying to move forward. I worry about it. I try. I put books out. My newest book is for women only. For women only, understanding a man's ego. Every woman should read it. I don't want to make money off it. I just want women to read it. I'm trying to make it an audiobook. And when I do, it'll be on a platform, and I make sure that anybody that wants to read it reads it. Period. It's how to defend themselves in this reality of men's world. Do you realize women weren't allowed to vote in 2020? 1920? They were still victims. Love didn't exist until 2,000 years ago. And even that's vague, because how do you define love? Jesus could only show it. He couldn't teach it. Nobody on this planet can teach love. Oh, love him, love him. How do you love him? Kiss him, hug him. No, that's not even close to what love is. And guess what? If you don't understand God, you will never understand love. Musk and Trump are the most evil people in the United States right now. You can throw in Gates, because what he's doing is 10 times more evil what he's doing right now. Find out. Search history. Search the facts. He's working with China. Buying all the land. And Trump goes, we're not going to eat crickets. Oh, yes, you are, people. It's going to be a sad day what Gates is doing. He's trying to eliminate farming as far as cow farming. Cow farts. That's another big bull story you were thrown with. I can go through all the stories. I worked with scientists all my life. When they said, oh, antifreeze is destroying the ozone layer. You don't hear that word anymore. You don't even hear it at all. It's destroyed. Imagine it being 2 miles wide. Now it's down to about 1.5 inches. You hear them talk, oh, we could repair it if we want. They could repair it if they want. Do you follow the truth? Or you listen to these half-assed scientists? Oh, this is what it could be. Oh, this is what it should be. This is what it is. A black hole, the Big Bang, lies, people. They can't prove one thing. They can't prove how a human being got to this planet, which would be the first thing they try to prove to people, to prove that they know something, but they don't. Oh, ancient aliens been on 16 years. Well, these pyramids had to be built some other way. Had to be aliens involved. Maybe you think so? They don't talk about the giants much. We did have giants. The book of Enoch that was taken out of the Bible was all about giants. There's only one story about a giant in the Bible. But they were real. And why would you build a building 30 feet high for a 5-foot man? Oh, look at the ceiling. How do I get up there? How do I change the bulbs? They didn't have bulbs, but how do they do anything? All that work for what reason? Think about why we do things. Hopefully there's a reason for what you do. It's called an agenda. You do something with an agenda. Aliens are here with an agenda. They're not here to play with themselves. They're not here to play with you, even though they do. But they have a reason for being here. And there's 9 races that are detrimental to this planet. Putin, if you got him to talk about it, and if Mr. Trump was willing to talk to him face-to-face on TV, we'd hear the facts. But he won't. He's not going to admit to what's going on. Trump and Mr. Putin and Musk do not know much about MJ-12. Truman created it. Eisenhower had to keep it going. All right? And it became what it is. Way above the president. It's not about taxes and things like that. You know how much money they spend in a year? Oh, we got a, $5 trillion deficit? Well, they spend $720 billion a year, average up to $720 trillion whenever they need to. Money's make-believe. It's not real, people. And if you believe it is, you're really in trouble. Well, I don't have it. I can't buy food. Because they made you in that situation. Native people never use money. Tribal people never use money. How do they survive? We have technology, which is not spiritual. It's leading us deeper and deeper into hell, even though we are in it. It's not saving the planet. Nothing that they do is helping the planet. Mr. Musk doesn't realize what he's doing alone. When you send a spaceship up It blows a hole in the ozone. Take a cloud of smoke and then take a fan and blow through it. It's going to blow right through it, isn't it? Well, the ozone's not a solid thing, first off, and it's very fragile right now. Every time he sends a rocket up, it does damage. All right. Now, Russia, or China, I'm bad with names, but I think it was China, said, no, I don't know the facts. I'm just going to quote one of them. Said, when his ship blew up, he caused damage. Don't hear anything about that here in the United States. China went to Mars. I'm getting a little out of myself. China went to the moon. They said they filmed something on the other side of the moon. I actually saw a video of the other side of the moon. There is a base there. I'm not going to say whose base it is, but there is a base there. All right, China knows it. All right, China wants to populate the moon first. Mars wants to populate Mars. Why? How long is it going to take you to get there? Well, we got ships that go there. Musk. If you know that, we did, and we still do. And the new spaceship the United States is releasing within probably 6 to 8 months costs $44 billion. Just a small example of where they spend their money. It has every weapon known and unknown to mankind. A hydrogen bomb, neutron bomb, electron bomb, proton bomb is nothing compared to what they have. The HARP system, when it was created by Tesla, is the most dangerous weapon on the planet. Musk doesn't have a clue. They can take anybody out anywhere on the planet or anything out in a split second. It has to do with chemtrails, why we lace the sky with metals and things like that. There's a reason for everything. There's a reason why you're here. And you think science is going to tell you why? You think the government's going to tell you why? Just think, if all spiritual people left the planet, what would be here? A lot of people, but what would they do with them? Nothing. All right, we're talking about people on drugs and everything else. Not sick and poor people. Not even the homeless people. Hardcore drug dealers. Sex traffickers. The dangerous people. People. You don't come into this country crossing the border and become a sex trafficker like Mr. Rump says. He's delusional. I watched the border. My brother's son was on the border patrol for a couple years ago. Do you know they were counting thousands of people dying before they even got to the fence, to the crossover? These people would take money from these families, put them in a truck, and bring them out halfway in the desert and dump them off with no food. Does Trump talk about that? Were they all evil beings coming to the country? He's a fool. I say to his face 1,000 times over. And I'll say he's going to face the higher powers sooner or later, and he will be sorry, the same as Musk will. People that store money and to be a trillionaire, guess what? You're starving billions of people. There's 8 billion people on this planet, and you could probably feed at least a quarter of them and not spend all your money either. But you don't. I know I could go on and on. What happened in Hawaii, on Maui, was a horrible thing. And the truth's not going to come out. Even though there's videos and pictures and sworn statements of what really went down. It wasn't just a fire. It wasn't just a pole falling down, sparks from a windstorm. Look at the videos that were up. If you saw any of them, what was really going on during that time frame. The things that happened, it was horrible. And it wasn't done naturally. It wasn't nature. All right. I'm going to take it back further. In California, years ago, they were shutting the power off all the time. And they say we were having power failures. We were having power failures. Do you know why they shut the power off? Why they shut the power off? Because they turned the HARP system on. If they would have put it on, it would have blew up all the terminals. Tesla's HARP system. People, there's so much happening, and you're not even aware of any of it or believe any of it, which is even worse. And when Trump spits out bull, you're going to believe it. Why? He's evil. He did horrible things, and he's getting away with it. And what did he tell you? I'm going to be a dictator the first day I get in. What kind of person would vote for a dictator? Our morals are gone. Our responsibility is gone and taken away from us. Most people don't care. They don't believe in God. They believe in the universe. Oh, the universe is going to step in and save us. No, it's not. Oh, the sun's going to help us. The moon's going to help us. No, it's not. What are you focused on? What are you going to deal with in the next 5 years? We're in trouble. I mean, if Kamala gets in, she's going to try to work with people and help them. But there's another thing riding in back of all this, people. And you need to pull it up, search it out, start looking at what it means, what it can happen, and what's going to happen. It's called UN Agenda 30. All right. It was accepted by 193 countries that are pretty much brain dead. To accept that. And when we got people like Musk going, well, AI is going to be good. We can eliminate all the little jobs. Eliminate all the little jobs. Let's not give jobs to the poor and homeless people. Let's take that away from them so they die. Then he said, what, 2 weeks later? Well, we got to watch out for AI. What, you're contradicting yourself? Of course he is. AI will be taking over the planet within about 3 or 4 years, no matter what Musk says or does. I'll tell you this. You don't have to believe me. But if you live another 10 years, you'll find out that I'm telling you the truth right now. AI is a real entity, meaning it thinks for itself. I just watched a special on that. 2 people working in it and stuff. Well, in 3 or 4 years, it's going to have a lot more control. It has control already. But when it has full control, you know the old story, why would it need man if it could create a robot that would rebuild itself? Once it knows what it's doing, which it's doing, and it can, and they did a test already. I'm not going to go into it. But they're already proving AI is a real entity, not a real program. There's a big difference. Japan, years ago, was already hooking a computer up to a brain. You don't think that sounds scary? Well, guess what? They're not the first. Read Sean David Morton's book. Go back to the Montauk Project. They were bringing children from all over the world there and doing operations on their brains and everything else, people. Nobody's good on this planet. That's why it is hell. Hell's a place to get out of, not you're going to go to. And as long as you believe you're in heaven, you'll stay here for a long time. If you don't believe in reincarnation, you'll never find a way to get anywhere further than where you are right now. You're going to die and come back and not even know that you were even here. All right. Reincarnation is important. Karma is really important. If you understand them, you work to work them out and understand them. But if you think they're lies, guess what? You're living a lie. You're believing in fairy tales. When you go out, you're on the corner of the street, you're with your son, light just turned green, your child runs across the street and gets smacked by a car, gets killed. Think God was watching you? Jesus is going to protect your ass for that? Why didn't he? I don't know. Well, God's not protecting the bodies of people on this planet. Soul, what dwells within inside it that leaves when the body dies, is eternal. But it'll reincarnate over and over until it learns what it is. It's like saying you're in kindergarten, which is planet Earth. You push a die, you think you're going to go to a higher plane or a higher world of existence? Really? You can't even take care of yourself or understand yourself here. Do you condemn, hurt, steal, rob, cheat, curse? I mean, the Ten Commandments talks about cursing. In Revelations, when you read what John wrote about what sins can't be forgiven, if you're a Christian, send this video to every Christian you know. Read it. Read Revelation. You could read it 10 times in a day. Read it 5 times in a day. Read what John says, what sins cannot be forgiven. Just about everything you do. Moses, with his commandments, are so full of it. None of them are livable. We can't live by them. I mean, he wrote 63 laws later. The first 10 or how to live life in a normal state. A little bit left out a lot of the facts in between each sentence. He couldn't write a book, but what he did write was simple. All right, thou shalt not kill. Honor the mother and father. He didn't put. They have to honor their children as well. Don't worship false idols. I mean, do they sound that complicated? Lucifer, people, is not a demon, and all these demon worshippers aren't following Lucifer. Watch the TV series. It's much closer to Lucifer than what these people believe Lucifer is. Black magic is evil. Want to know why? I was a high priest for years. I started when I was 16. I had a covenant. There wasn't books or anything written about it. But I knew a lot of things. I challenged just about everybody I could at that time frame. I'm talking about people in the mob. They had psychics and all that kind of stuff. They had high priests and up. But a high priest that does black magic is different than a high priest that does white magic. People, you don't want to believe in ghosts, and they're all around you. You want to believe in good ghosts. Well, if your father dies, oh, he's here next to me. Why not let him go? Why does he want to stick around your pathetic family here? He can go into the higher worlds and realms. We hold souls and they adapt to it and stick by it and oh, well, I got to stay here. No, you don't. You're programmed over and over. Jesus did not teach that, people. Man did. When Atlantis was destroyed, they created the horrible things that exist. Sacrifice and words like that. Torture and all those words. We didn't do it in Atlantis. Atlantis was the most beautiful time in the history of this universe. That's why aliens are still coming here. But it's destroyed, and we're not the same. Out of 9 races, there's only 4 races here now of humans. To say, well, we were all brought here, but humans of white, black, red, and yellow. All right, all the other races left. They became aware and left. They left their bodies and went into a higher realm. The body's useless, really. Well, I could have sex, I could get drugs and be happy, and I could what? And what? What else? Go to work and buy a car. Really? That sounds real spiritual to me. And then again, I'm not going to go against all the other religions, which don't teach you anything important. You want to believe this is a dream. Live in a dream. But if it's a shitty dream, don't you think you should change it? If you're dreaming, if you have the ability to get out of a dream, go back and rearrange it. I do. I always did. Rather than living your whole day. Well, that was a horrible dream. Oh, that was a horrible dream. Sure, sometimes it's laying on your mind. I mean, even though you went back and changed it. But we create our dreams at some level. But we also have to be responsible for what we create, even in our dreams. Dreams are close to our reality, or we wouldn't have them, people. All right, we're going to go to a different subject. All right, the election's only what? A month away. Who are you going to vote for? Musk and Trump? Musk is going to be his backbone now. He's giving them the millions of dollars to back him up. Imagine that. Imagine giving Trump $40 million this month. For what? Rather than feeding half of the people in the United States that are starving and homeless? What an evil person! And he doesn't even know it, realize it, or even see it. Oprah, on the other hand, she's a Republican. And she's supporting Kamala. I was blown away. Because she knows her taxes are going to get increased and everything else. But she's still doing it. Why? I'm not going to go into the details, but she is. No matter what, she's at least doing that. Taylor Swift. Well, when she came out and said what she did, she changed a lot of people's ideas and got younger people involved with the idea of voting. Because we should care. We have the right to vote. But then again, let's go into the Constitution again. What is, okay, you hear the word electoral vote. What does it mean to you? Well, there are people that override some of the people's votes and make a decision on the president. Why? If we were given the right to vote, say there's 10 people, one person in the electoral vote, and we all vote. But the only vote that really mattered was that one person that was the electoral vote. All your votes are useless. Like what happened to Hillary. All right. You know, we don't look at the foundation of what's in back of the things we think we know. You should. And don't read about it in Joe Schmo's magazine or whatever. Go through the facts, search it out. And then again, you're not going to get the deep truth. Because the Constitution was created during war times. War with the native people, war with each other. While everybody was searching for gold. You know, when the cowboy days came, everybody had a gun. And we're just shooting everybody up. Should we go back to that? Some people might think so. Well, if somebody comes near me, I'm going to shoot him. Really? Let's kill people. Let's, like in the, what's the army phrase? Kill them all and let God sort it out? Well, when you go to battle, you got to kill all the people coming up across that borderline. Even though, like in Vietnam, they were children, 14 years old. I'm going to tell you a quick story, a real story. Ex-millionaire girlfriend was in Vietnam as a nurse on the borderline. What she did every day for 2 years was wash children's bodies and send them home. But she did something no other woman had the balls, courage, or whatever you want to say, to do it. She went back in 1994 and she met underground people in Vietnam. This story was covered up over and over. Tried to make it into a movie, more backfired. She was one when she first came out, not to say a word about it. But let me finish the story. So she went back to Vietnam, met these underground people. Said, we want to show you something. They took her to 2 prison camps. 1994, people. U.S. prisoners. All right. They said, we're going to take you somewhere else. And they took her to this building. It had all the name tags and skulls of white people or people that fought in the American Army. They hated the white people, and they could smell the white people. After they took her there, she took 2 skulls and 240 name tags and went back to her hotel. This is a real story, people. When she got to the hotel, she called the prime minister. They came, took pictures of everything, and left. An hour later, Vietnamese police come in and arrest her. They didn't find the 2 skulls and they didn't find the name tags, but they put her in prison. And they soaked her, and they threw gasoline on her and said, we're going to burn you if you don't tell us where everything is. She escaped, got back underground. These people dyed her skin, flushed her body out. She came back on a plane with a Vietnamese woman who saved her with 2 skulls and 240 name tags, people, from Vietnam. Guess who was waiting for her when she got off the plane? They took everything from her. Months later, they go, do you want to go to the families and tell them that you found their skulls? And she said, no way. And they put their names on the wall, though. Vietnamese wall that has all the names of people that died there. It's a real story. But just showing you. Then what Rocky come out with the movie? Whoa, they go back to Vietnam and rescue some prisoners. It was based on facts that they weren't really going to do anything about. And they didn't. You know, people, we don't know what goes on. When they say, well, how many people died in the war? You hear a number. China, Russia, Japan, any country. Doesn't give you the real number. Even the Maui fire. I'll get into that in a second. All right. There's 12,000. Well, I'll do that now. Well, she came home. She still goes through super depression. with these dead bodies that were all young bodies going back across the border, killing these kids that are all little kids. You call that moral? You call that sane? I mean, if somebody tells you to go kill somebody for your country, you're going to do it? When those people ran up to Canada, they were freed eventually, but they were willing to stand and fight for what they wouldn't do. I can't kill somebody. I can't. I'd rather die than kill them because I won't have to pay the karma. They will. I know where I'm going as long as I don't get pulled into the karma world of this reality. But when we go into the war zone, are you willing to go to war for your country? If they're coming across your borderline, you might want to shoot them. But when you go into another country and blow up people's families and houses and everything else, like Trump wants to pick up all these people and get rid of them, well, they should have did that with every white person that came in here. The native people were trying to make friends. They weren't evil. They weren't redskin relating to the devil. But nobody respected the native people, and they still don't. How many native people you see in Congress? Any? No. I mean, a full-blood native person in Congress or anywhere. I can go into that story. I spent years dealing with that. I was on a reservation. You name it. It's horrible. 3 years ago, 240 children were killed. Not how many rapes and all that. I'm not going to go into it all, but it's horrible. It's a horrible story, and nobody wants to hear it. Oh, that's outdated. Who cares? Well, you build your house on sand next to the ocean. What do you think is going to happen? What's happening in California right now? Your foundation has to be solid. And there's very few souls walking this planet that have a solid foundation. Musk and Trump have no foundation. Just a big ball of ego and money. People, all the money being spent for an election when it should be just about my vote. Who I vote for. All right? And it's not. Because, again, if the electoral votes overpower the people's vote, guess who wins? The electoral vote. Why is their vote better than mine? People, do you ask yourself anything? Do you know what's happening? Do you understand it? What's it take to get through a tomato? Anything. A sword, a knife, a spoon, anything can go through a tomato. Is that what you are? Let everything just wash through you and flush you out? Do you care about your children really? Putin does. Trump cares about his child. But how did he get there? Where did his wife come from? Well, I don't even want to go into his wife's story. Another horrible story. But basically, let's go back to the first religion on the planet. It was kind of really animal worship, but that wasn't really a religion. But when Hinduism came into reality, which was the first religion in this whole planet on it, it's called Hinduism. And basically, they work with deities, not the word gods. There's a difference. And there is only one God. There's no gods, but a plural. No such thing. I use the word little gods. If people don't like the word deity. Deity sounds like a picture on a wall, which it's become, not a real entity. I can go on and on about that story or those stories as well. It's real. It's a real reality. It happened, and it's still happening. But why? What's it doing? What's it creating? What are we creating in this world? Nothing good, nothing spiritual. That should bother you people. You think Trump has any space in his brain to bring something spiritual into our reality? His son goes out and kills endangered species and brags about it. I said, give him a knife and put him out there in a cage with 2 bears. See how powerful he is with one knife against 2 bears. No matter how lucky he gets, I don't think he's going to get out of there. But they brag about it. I mean, there's pictures of that. A father with his daughter killing a lion and stuff like that. Well, how about defending our country, the way we eat, what we're going to eat, what we're going to use to live on and be and live in, how we're going to get around. Don't believe Mr. Musk's electric car is our solution. It's not. As long as they have batteries got to be made. And they're the most dangerous part of everything. So, where do we go from here, people? Go to vote. That's the first thing you do. But think about it. What you're going to bring into your own reality. Musk is supporting Trump. And he's attacking Kamala any which way and every which way with lies and stories. I go after him every day. I say, when he grows a pair of balls, which he never will, talk to me one-on-one. Let's talk about things he has no clue about. What the secret government really is. And a word that you don't hear mentioned ever. Underground cities. Why not? Because it's not for the poor people, middle-class people, homeless people, or sick people. Why was it created? Well, then you should really look up UN Agenda-30 and why this is all taking place within the next 6 years. Trump is not the ruler of the universe or the world. He may think he is when he gets in. But you think he's going to be friends with China? If he goes against China, and he said, "They'll get everybody out of here," really? You think they're going to let him? We're going into battles, and it's really could be going to a war about Alaska right now. But you know, when he goes against these people that he thinks he's friends with, again, when he met Putin told him straight out, we're dealing with aliens. And you better tell the world what you actually did at 9/11, what really happened. Nobody knows. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody will. And it's a bunch of lies if you believe anything. 3 planes hit, 2 hit there, and one hit the White House. And no, not at all. You know, they followed those planes across the United States. Each tower said to the next one, "Oh, there's a plane coming your way. Oh, there's a plane coming your way." And they did nothing about it. All right. 2 months before it all happened, a special on TV exposing what was going on with the Trade Center. You know, it produced 1.5 raw tons of sewage that went into the Hudson River. It was loaded with asbestos, and all the walls had to be ripped down and changed and all that. It would have cost a fortune. So it was going into bankruptcy. And the 3 companies that were involved with that owned the 3 airline companies as well. How's that possible, people? And that's facts. I'm not making that up. But the special on TV said the last thing about that, when those buildings were built, they had to make sure, or they weren't allowed to be built if they weren't going to go straight down. Meaning straight down, not pull over sideways or anything else. You know, things go straight down when you use explosions inside the building. But take a tree and smash it. It's going to go bloop. Simple knowledge, simple testing. Take a milk box, anything, and do it. What's going to happen? It's going to go straight down? Of course not. It's all lies you're being fed. You believe it. And you listen to who? Why? But you know why? You probably don't understand God or believe in a real God. You believe in a storybook, which is called the Bible, the most written popular book on the planet. But what's it really helping us do? Understanding the truth? Truth about what? God? Jesus? And the most important person, Mary Magdalene? Oh, she was just as important as Jesus was because she had to finish teaching the disciples. But how could she teach the disciples if she didn't know what she was teaching them? I'm going to teach trigonomics or whatever. I have no clue. How could I teach it? I can't. How could she teach these people about psychic abilities? There was 32 of them. Healing being one that they used mainly. All right. Jesus didn't have to die. But if he didn't die, he couldn't prove what he came here to teach people. And it wasn't about saving your sorry butt. He came back after he was killed. That's what he was teaching, people. Well, I could go on and on. But, I threw a lot of stuff at you, and I know you're not going to listen, care, or believe it. You're going to send this to your friends, tell them to listen. But the people, I'm going to say this. I was in the UFO world from 1996 to 2002. A person, I'm not going to say his name because he's attacking me, and he sold out to the government. He sold out to the government, which is only one of the two things that UFO people can do. Die or sell out to the government. All right. I knew a person in MJ12. They killed his whole family before they killed him. Pull up the story of Phil Snyder. Another true story. Oh, he committed suicide. They always say people commit suicide because they had to get rid of him right away. But I had 16 friends all taken out in the UFO world. All right? Young and old. The most important speakers in the UFO world. I knew one of the people involved with the Philadelphia experiment, which was a real event, which what happened and everything else about Tesla's time travel machine. We are able, but realize when we play with that, we destroy reality. You understand that? Musk, you should, but you don't. And it's real, and I know you don't believe it. That's your problem. You believe bull, you don't want to believe the truth. That's why I said, face me. I'll be standing under God. You'll be standing under an egg or a chicken or a rooster, whatever. But again, I deal with truth, people, and I know people hate me for that. I was in the UFO world most of my life. I worked in a company and everybody thought I was crazy. I went through really bad times as well, but when everybody hates you, it's hard to walk the streets. And not because you're a bad person, because you're a good person. Why did they kill all the spiritual people? Think about it. I spent 2 years trying to find out all the history about all the so-called spiritual people that lived. Even Gandhi, they had to kill him. Sai Baba died of a flu, which was an unrealized thing, because he said he would tell when he was going to come back, and he died with the flu in the hospital. I'm not going to get into all the details about the HARP system. H-A-I, it's AARP system. All right. It is the most deadliest weapon next to the new ones that they're using that Tesla created. All right. They hit the planet with this one weapon. I'm not going to go into the details. They hit Maui. They hit Florida. They hit California, and one of the states right next to it. What it does, it can just change the temperature or something. Multiply the temperature by 100 degrees in a split second. I'm not lying, people. Time travel, we can do it. We have been doing it. But they can't do much, because if they change one president, one person, stop one person from getting killed, and that's what happened when the Philadelphia experiment happened. They opened a rip, which is called the vortex, which is allowing all this negative stuff to come into our world, which is demons, entities, and all those kind of things, which every show on TV, they're filming them, talking to them, seeing them. So guess what? Either everybody's crazy and just making up stuff, or they're really seeing stuff now. Think about it, people. Probably spend some time on TV. I mean, Hawaii, most people don't even have a TV. They're trying to live off the grid, meaning they don't even know what's happening. Oh, we got a new president? Oh, we're going to have a presidency election? What? Oh, there was a fire on Maui? People that live in dreamland will die in dreamland and stay there for a long period of time before they find out the truth and leave this realm. There's 5 major levels, people, not 6, 12, 18. I mean, there's 3 realms in each one of them. All right, but Basically, it's hard to get past the second realm, which is called the astral plane. There's multiple deities there that stop people from crossing over, and one of them's Jehovah. All right. But in the interim, Satan's there. Sorry, not Satan, Lucifer. All right. And they judge people before they cross over, and they don't get to cross over. There's certain things you got to do, people, to get past those gates, or whatever you want to call them. You think they're going to let a rapist go into the higher realms of God? Do you believe that that's like school in a physical hell world? People in college get stupid. People in grade school get stupid. Not in higher worlds. You heard about the fallen angels? Most of the important known named angels fell. There was only 9 angels mentioned in the Bible. John wrote a bunch of angels in Revelations, but he didn't name them. People, do you read the Bible if you're a Christian and pretend you're a religious person? Do you know anything about it? Do you know the truth about Jesus? Do you know the truth about anything? You don't even know the truth about Mary Magdalene. She did have a daughter. And the Knights of Templar worshipped her and still do. But it was her daughter. She only lived how long? I mean, how long can the person live? Moses lived 1,000 years. Well, what did he do in 1,000 years? Killed a lot of people. Black magic is killing. White magic, you don't kill people for no reason. There's no reason to, or you can't. I mean, you can, but you won't. Killing means you stay here. People, do you want to hear the truth? Do you want to live by your minister, rabbi, pope, priest, whatever you want to deal with? Dalai Lama. You can live any way you want, people. But you're never going to find heaven. And you're never going to find God. You may think you found Jesus. Because when you do a near-death experience, most people will say, oh, I saw Jesus. Why? Well, it was a man in a white robe, blue eyes, long hair. We know that's a lie, first off. But sorry, I'm losing my voice. I need to drink real fast, sorry. Whatever you hear, whatever you were told, the Nordics actually drive on ships with the reptilians. Whether you want to know it or not, the tall whites are not the Nordics. Different race. The United States didn't want to work with them. Well, we can't touch them or we'll die, but they have a base. There's Area 51, 52, 53, and 54. Whether you know that or not either. You don't know anything, people. And I'm the loser. I'm the crazy person. I'm this and everything because I just know too much. It's hard living with the facts and knowing that nobody cares. These underground cities, every one of them has 10,000 people in it right now. Jesse Ventura exposed everything years ago. His last year, they took him off the air before he could do a couple of shows because he said he put too much out. Just like a friend of mine who was in MJ12, he was allowed to put a lot of it. He put all those names out, Project Blue Book, and he put all those names out. But he put too many wrong things out, and they killed his family to torture him, and then they killed him. Evil is painful. Living life in hell is painful. Where do you want to be? Here? How about getting out? Jesus was teaching how to leave planet Earth, how to get closer to God, how to understand God's realms, and why we would want to go there. A death experience only puts you in the astral plane, people. And I listen to every single one I see online, on a writing, anywhere, and listen to what they say. 99.9% of them do not know what really happened in that experience. Well, I met Jesus. I met God. No, you didn't. How would you know it? What would you ask? What happened? What did you say? Oh, your time's not now. That's not the reason. I mean, it probably is the reason, but then again, it's not what they're telling you. Oh, it's not your time. You got to go back. Your mind can only perceive what it's programmed to understand. What an orange is. If I take a child that never had a fruit and give him an apple and a potato, And I'll say they're both oranges. You're just going to call them oranges. If you're not given the truth, you can't answer with the truth. You don't know what the truth is. Children are open. And I'm going to say this before I end. They're much more spiritual than any adult ever is or was. Because they're not programmed yet. They're in the light. Their bodies are light bodies. They're sensitive to everything. And when people go out to bars, come home with their child, they're feeding their child negative energy right there. Cursing, drinking, and all those things in front of them. You think that's helping the child become aware of who and what he is? Then about demons, entities, oh, the boogeyman's going to get you. You tell them it's there, and then you say, well, be good, and it will come. Oh, really? Good people don't meet Satan? Satan's here. His whole army's here, people. You don't have to believe that. You can live in dreamland. Everybody's a good person. Everybody's good. No, nothing's good on this planet, or you wouldn't be here. You're working your karma up so you can leave. Anybody that ever gets to the end of this, which probably never will because they're too stuck in their programmed ideas, but it's Hawksblood1, AOL.com. I reply to all my mails. If you want to talk personally, directly, Skype, Hawksblood11. I'll talk to anybody, good, bad, or indifferent. You can say what you want. I'll give you the feedback. So you heard it here first. You heard it here last. However you want to look at it, what you're going to do with your vote is really important to you, your children, and the rest of their life, people, because it might not be long. All right, Tommy Hawksblood. Till next time. I'm going to be doing a spiritual show every week, too, very soon. But I've been so involved with this election, so worried what's going to happen to the world. And there's very little, because people don't listen to the truth anywhere. If I told you lies, you'd be happy. But till then, till next time, peace. Tommy Hawksblood, call me, text me, however you want.